this war stops now.
You are tired of the war. I can see on your face.
End the war. Bring freedom to our people.
This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time.
Let's stop! Listen to me! Listen to me! Stop!
No. No more tricks. No more lies. Only truth.
Welcome to Stop Listen Podcast. I am your host, Jamie. We're on episode 12. We've got more news going on. It never stops. It's almost like there's something new to talk about all the time. So I'm recording this on the 22nd of December. Christmas is a few days away. Very excited. Got a couple of family things to do. Gonna be around a lot of people I love. It's gonna be great, and I hope you all will do the same. Speaking of the holidays, Elizabeth Warren, she made a post on Twitter. She's flying somewhere for the holidays. The Biden-Harris administration is looking out for you. Run. You need to fly somewhere for the holidays, and the Biden administration is looking out for you. I wouldn't go. If that's keeping the planes up in the air, my goodness, because he can't keep himself upright. Working to hold airlines accountable for delays, weather, and cancellations, weather. Going after junk fees, so like when morbidly obese people, you can take multiple seats or something like that. And pushing back against airline monopolies that jack up prices. We want the government to take over those damn airlines. That's what we need. That's what she's getting at. Because those same airlines are flying immigrants around the country at the administration's behest. So it's funny her calling them out. Stephen Miller, aide to Donald Trump, he commented on this. How many illegal aliens without background checks or proper health or medical screening and potentially contagious illnesses will be on those flights? Great question. And he brings up illegal aliens. I didn't call them illegal. I just called them immigrants. You know, you don't want to be negative. I mean, I'm not afraid of being accurate, but I mean, I don't know. That's why just immigrant. But I've been noticing on a lot of the content that I consume, they've been referring to our crisis as a migrant. Now, unless I'm very confused, migrant means like, because it happened a lot during the Great Depression in our country, there was a lot of more people were migrating around the country to find work in one's own country. When you're crossing into a country, that what makes you an immigrant. So I find it very interesting that even the people that I listen to call them migrants. So maybe no one will ever hear this. Maybe this video will be suppressed or blocked or other horrible things happen. I hope not, because I can't be getting banned when I'm just getting started. Tulsi Gabbard, former Democrat, ran for president, famously took out Kamala Harris. We should watch that, actually. She spoke at TPUSA's AmFest. So TPS is a essentially right-wing conservative, whatever, group that really targets colleges run by Charlie Kirk.
So I went down and participated in it. I didn't see very many of my Democrat colleagues there. And so later on, I went and talked to them, and I asked them, like, hey, this was really cool. I was stoked to be a part of this. Did you not get the email? The answer I got was quite condescending. They said, Tulsi, we know you're new here. You don't really quite get how this place works. We don't participate in that because that's a right-wing Republican thing. I was not only shocked, but pretty disheartened and saddened by that response. But now as we look at their actions year after year and escalating, especially over these last few years, what they said is actually borne fruit. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about the vision that our founders had for this country. They are so blinded by their hunger, this insatiable hunger for power, that they are putting their selfish interests above everything else. And they are launching this all-out assault on our God-given rights and freedoms.
She's great. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of stuff that I would really disagree with. I said that in the last podcast. But whoever the next president is, somehow, if something crazy happens and RFK landed in there, or Trump, I would like to see her somewhere in the administration. I don't want to see her as Trump's vice president, probably, or that could be genius. I don't know. Because Trump has to pick a woman, and there's not many to choose from that he would pick from, obviously. I mean, there are plenty of women that wouldn't want to do it or wouldn't be asked to.
They are discriminating against people of faith, especially Christians, arresting peaceful pro-life protesters, trying to remove God from every facet of our public life, and as we are seeing most recently, bending over backward, trying to placate pro-Hamas Islamist protesters.
Strong words from Tulsi Gabbard. Oh, here we go.
These are just a few reasons why I left the Democratic Party.
I got this from my
I could no
step-grandmother.
longer
Very nice
remain
lady.
in today's Democratic
Gloria,
Party that's
thank
under
you.
the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness.
So, to me, the wokeness implies that it's not calculated, and they're just riding their emotions, and I don't think that's true one bit.
The party that I joined over 20 years ago, which was once a party that largely stood up for free speech, that stood up for working people in this country, that stood up for civil liberties, is gone. The bottom line is this: a political party that is actively undermining our constitutional freedoms cannot be trusted, and we, the people, cannot allow them to remain in power.
I hope she's just not an opportunist. I don't think she is. I think she comes off pretty darn genuine, and I think she's been fairly consistent ever since she popped on the scene. I haven't seen her in a long-form interview in a while, but I do remember watching her on Joe Rogan.
The most egregious example of all that demonstrates how far they are willing to go to undermine the rule of law and our democracy is in the continuous assault and weaponization of the Department of Justice and law enforcement to go after President Biden's major political opponent in this election year. They are doing all that they can, and Special Counsel Smith has made this clear, to try to either throw President Trump in jail or do what it takes to prevent we, the American people, from having the choice ourselves to decide who we want to be our president and commander-in-chief.
That's the same thing that RFK Jr.
This is the kind of thing that we hear about happening in
about,
banana
Trump.
republics.
Exactly.
This is not the kind of thing that we, the people, should accept as a new norm in our country.
And I think, I don't know, was she not embraced by the party? Is she just rejecting them with what she's doing here? Or did she reject the party because every one of them, for the most part, moves in lockstep, and which is why they're so effective? I repeat, I would like to see her involved. Trump, I don't know. I mean, an advisor, chief of staff, even, I don't know. I mean, just throwing her to run a department, you know, can't make her Secretary of Defense, but it's gonna somewhere in there possibly. Look up the since we're doing Tulsi Gabbard, I'm gonna look up her takedown of Kamala Harris. We'll just play that for old time's sakes. Oh, look at that! You see that? Tulsi Gabbard takes down Kamala. I'm sure. But, oh well, they're not gonna help me. They're gonna make me type it out.
Bills that you passed when you were in the United States Senate for decades. It was the work of creating one of the first in the nation initiatives around re-entering former offenders and getting them jobs and counseling.
Thank you, Senator.
I did the work as Attorney General of putting body cameras on
God, he looks
special
like a
agents
young
in the
man
state
there.
of California, and I'm proud of that work.
I want to bring in Congresswoman Gabbard. Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue with Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate. You called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response?
Take down. And now she's the vice president. She
As
is
the elected
the
Attorney
vice. She
General
is
of
the next in line behind a very, very old Joe Biden. My God.
I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about re-entering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response,
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
And that's our vice president. So I came across a story via CBS News, and I read it. It struck me as quite odd. Let's go ahead and watch the clip here. And there's more details that the clip doesn't feature.
A British family is close to being reunited this morning, 6 years after a boy's disappearance. And it's all thanks to a chance encounter hundreds of miles from his home and in a different country. Michael George is here with that story. Michael, good morning.
Well, Brooke, good morning. Incredible story here. And it all began when Alex Batty's mother and grandfather took him on what was supposed to be a 2-week trip to Spain back in 2017. This week, his 6-year-long odyssey across countries and continents came to an end. It was along this winding road, not far from France's border with Spain, that delivery driver Fabien Acciadini made an early morning discovery this week. It's an incredible story, he says. I didn't think that after midnight at work, I'd be finding someone on the side of the road who'd been missing for 5 years. Acciadini picked up Alex Batty, seen here at age 11. Now 17, Batty had been living off the grid and moving constantly with his mother and grandfather since disappearing in 2017.
Living off the... It was supposed to be a 2-week vacation with his mother and grandfather, so...
We continue to drive, and that's when he tells me a bit of his whole story about being kidnapped by his mother, his trips to Spain and France. The delivery driver dropped Batty off here to a police station. The teen, who does not speak French, communicated his story to investigators. He'd lived a nomadic life, spending time in Morocco, Spain, France, and the Pyrenees. Days ago, Batty decided to leave that life behind. When his mother suggested that she was thinking of leaving for Finland with him, this young man realized it was time for his journey to come to an end, and he decided to leave the place where he was staying with his mother and walked for 4 days and 4 nights.
So it's saying that they were just kind of bouncing around Europe, living a vagrant lifestyle. Then when the mom said, hey, well, we're going to go to Finland, he said, hell with it, and 11-year-old ran away. And there's no allegations of any kind of abuse aside from that lifestyle. But instead, it was supposed to be a 2-week vacation, and then but it still said it happened at 11. So it doesn't say how long after that 2 weeks do they not go back.
Police in Britain say they're working with French authorities to bring Batty home.
It's been 6 years since his disappearance. This is a huge moment for Alex for his family, and for the community in Oldham.
Before leaving Batty with authorities in France, Acciadini let the teen use his phone to send a message to his grandmother. It reads, "Hello, Grandma, it's me, Alex. I'm in France. I love you. I want to come home." And that homecoming is expected in the next couple of days. Alex's grandmother, who had custody of him before his disappearance, said in a statement, "I cannot begin to express my relief and happiness that Alex has been found safe and well." Now, prosecutors told the BBC that Batty hasn't told them where his mother currently is, but
how would he know? Because
they believe she's in Finland. As for the grandfather, Batty told prosecutors that he passed away about 6 months ago.
Do we know the conditions that he was living in that time when he was away from his grandmother?
So I think I misunderstood this. So I had another problem with my SD card, so I'm re-recording this. So this is the second time I've watched this. So I guess I misunderstood it the first time, that he was bouncing around with his mother for 6 years. I heard it as he ran away relatively early in that. So
yeah, prosecutors say that he was sort of living with an alternative community off the grid. They were actually taking solar panels with them as they moved from place to place to provide them with power. So he seems to be in good physical condition, but we don't know what he's been through.
Important as parents to remind ourselves these type of abductions are almost always custody disputes by another name. It's not just you let your kid go to the playground and they walk off.
Right.
Oh. So when children go missing, we shouldn't get too worked up about it. It's probably it's probably a custody dispute. Yeah, what an evil piece of shit for saying that. So we got a new movie out. So we got the movie that Obama produced where the grid goes down because we get cyber attacked. And at some point in that movie, they say we need to be careful about how much power you give white people. And then we got a movie called Civil War also coming out. And then now another one. Drum roll, please, which I think I actually have. So this movie, the American Society of Magical Negroes. Yes. That's where we're at. So let's watch this.
I know you can feel their discomfort, Aaron. Watching you walk through a room full of white people was the most painful thing I've ever seen.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I don't want to take you to a job interview. There's a recruiting class starting right now, and we got to get you in it.
Welcome to the American Society
Okay, I did read Rainbow.
of Magical Negroes.
I don't really understand.
It's easier to show you. What's the most dangerous animal on the planet?
Shark.
White people, when they feel uncomfortable. White people feeling uncomfortable precedes a lot of bad stuff for us.
So there you go. The most racist line I've ever heard uttered in a movie. Maybe Birth of a Nation, the KKK propaganda film back in, I don't know, the silent era more than 100 years ago. Nothing that racist was said in American History X, the film about a recovered neo-Nazi, that told the story in retrospect of his realization of the evil of that ideology. They still didn't have anything that racist in that movie.
That's why we fight white discomfort every day. Because the happier they are, the safer we are.
The name needs a little updating, maybe like magical black people, or I guess that doesn't.
Yeah, so the basis, so I guess the society has been around so long, that's when it was appropriate to refer to black people as Negroes. I mean, my entire life, it's bounced back and forth between black and African American. So there's a group of magical Negroes that are, I guess, like genies to white people so they don't get uncomfortable.
You ready?
Oh, wow.
Your first client is a Jason Munn. His morale is far too low.
Hey.
Hey.
Darn it. I was hoping there was a station right next to him.
Oh, is this one spoken for?
No.
Yeah, it's actually fun and weirdly relaxing. It's like being a secret agent with none of the danger.
Hey, I'm Lizzie.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
She's great.
Yeah, she's cool.
You kidding? Come on, man. She's smart and funny.
I know what you were doing going on about her. You're trying to set us up.
No, that's not what I was doing.
You cannot have a relationship with Lizzie now. Because if you don't put Jason first, everyone's magic will fail.
I remember when Spike Lee, I think it was Spike Lee, said that the Green Mile was racist because of the big magical black man. I thought it was a good movie, but Spike Lee disagreed. I wonder what Spike Lee thinks of this one. Watch him be a producer.
Job to make white people feel comfortable, and here it literally is. But maybe it shouldn't be.
I got a great plan to ask her out, but I'm gonna need your help. Do you think you could work your magic?
Hey, are you talking about me?
Hey.
Oh my, wait, are you?
It's a racist rom-com.
Someone defied the society. Who was it?
You didn't let her go like I told you. If you interfere with her or your client, you could have your memory erased. You won't even remember she existed.
Even though we might never see each other again, I need you to know that what we had was real.
I'm curious to see how you gonna make it out of all this.
Boy, they are really trying to make us hate each other, aren't they? My goodness. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Stop and listen. Please follow, like, subscribe, comment. James Jost at Stop and Listen Pod on Twitter, X, whatever. I'm most active on that. So thanks, and I'll see you next time.